momentum, even though she was going around the map and trying to keep control of it.
Yeah, and a little bit of a side note when it comes to stats here. The last full series best of 5 that we had involved DreamMax taking on none other than Infinity. So Infinity do have a little bit of experience when it comes to best of 5s. Unfortunately, that is actually what dropped them here to the lower bracket here, was that game 5 loss there to DreamMax. So here, a little bit of experience on the side of Infinity, maybe a little bit more that they can use to be able to overcome 9Z Globant here. And a great game. This is just kind of one of those things, like I said, if you're gonna, that's why I say when you use the Fanny, you had better be so good on that Fanny that it doesn't matter what counters you have out there. I didn't really see the Eudora being a big issue for Luisinho on this on the Fanny. However, it still came down to the fact, I feel like there's just you're putting in so much effort as a Fanny. Like, you ever seen those memes where you got that one dude, you see the vein popping out from his head as he's like trying so hard. Meanwhile, the enemy jungler's just sitting on easy street, just like playing up with a Suyo pick there and able to really turn the tables for you. Here, game 5 of this, a full 2 rows of heroes that are not able to be used. Does this favor the standard picks that kind of come out from 9Z Globant, or maybe it favors the more flexible picks that we've been seeing from Infinity out here that leaves open maybe possibly a lot more of the meta here in game 5?
Yeah, so I'm thinking like I'm seeing like all these gray heroes here. So I wonder who's gonna be here on the 5th game here. Rafaela, Leslie, Hanabi,
It's gonna be Angela. Just kidding.
Angela. Papi Pum are about to already be able to see Papi Pum. I don't know about that, but Baxia from 9Z Globant.
Oh, wow.
Okay, forget what I said. I'm so sorry what I said. I'm so sorry. And Marcel, and now the next one here from Infinity.
Yeah, they for sure still have a lot of the meta picks open for them to choose from here. They're going ahead and picking that Marcel and Beatrix combination over here on the side of Infinity. They got that free Baxia there on the side of the 9Z. This one might be a really good matchup for them. It all depends on if they actually know how to use Marcel correctly here to help the team out.
The only thing that kind of I feel is off about picking this Marcel and the Beatrix is the last time we saw this successful Marcel and Beatrix is because Beatrix went ahead and rushed that BOD. So you had Nibiru's Passion blasting away at everybody, held in line by the Golden Hour, and once the Golden Hour was up, all this damage just wiped over the team. Right now, you're going to be facing a Baxia, so I feel like the priority is going to be to try to pick up a Sea Halberd to try to negate a lot of the healing that Baxia is going to be able to output, and that's going to nerf a lot of the damage from Beatrix, at least in the early game, where I feel like this combination might shine. So that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about when it comes to this. Here, picked up an Akai, especially going up against the Farza. Very interesting from the side of Infinity.
Yeah, the only thing that comes through my mind now is a Beyblade Festival here. So we have this skin coming out from Hawkeye and the Boxer here with the first skill so far. But I agree with Private said about like the Golden Hour and all the situation that comes up with that ultimate. But I think and I'm feeling here that 9Z like is working on a composition that has some kind of ability to escape from this Golden Hour. You know what? Farsa with the bird form here, Moscow with the first one with the dash, Boxer even. So, okay, the idea with the Golden Hour here might be very good. Now with the guy to get the heavy spin and like getting someone stuck on the wall, for example. But with the delay, the animation delay here could be like a problem for Marcel, especially if 9Z read that situation and escape from this ultimate coming up from him.
Yeah, they have so much mobility on the side of 9Z. Could even get away from Beatrix's like ultimates that she may be gunning at them, you know. So I feel like this is a smart choice there on the side of 9Z, and the fact that Moscow is able to like switch positions quickly with his skills there as well. Right now it's looking rough for them to try to catch the side of 9Z here with their CC for sure.
Yeah, but it's not just the golden hour that you have to be worried about when you're facing a Marcel. It's that passive that he uses to be so be so upfront in early game, because that's a stun too, where he can just run into you, get the stun from you, and that is what sets up a lot of the tempo for a lot of these fights as well. So you come down with the feathered airstrike. Marcel immediately runs at you to try to get that stun. Even if the stun doesn't land, you've disengaged the feathered airstrike that came out. So that's a big part of the damage that comes out from 9Z Globant here. So that's going to be very interesting to see where we go from here. I believe Akai, is that going to be the jungler here? I think we kind of put it out there as the possibility of being something that's flexible for the side of Infinity. I do assume it's probably a roam pickup from Infinity, just as history goes, because Fanboy, I feel like, is a little bit more comfortable using some of these different roams that can come out.
And Marcel goes where, on the mid lane? Or?
Oh, yep. I don't know what I'm talking about, obviously. Brain power gets used all the way up to the fourth for the best of 4, and then best of 5. There's just nothing left when it comes to trying to compute all of this out there.
You know the best part? I was buying your idea. Like, okay, maybe we'll have some visionary situation here. Like, okay. Or like, okay, Marcel is gonna win, like on XP lane, for example. But now you're seeing the XP lane is gonna be on Terizla. Oh, the situation here now, like, it changes a lot for Infinity with the penalty zone, the heavy spin here. So it means like more benefit to Marcel to getting stacks with the control on his buff, and even the golden hour here to do this execution for Infinity. Wow, it's a good one. It's a good pick here from the XP lane. Once again here now. Okay. Bye guys.
Nobody panic. Nobody panic.
Over here, they added the control there from Terizla. I was talking about how the mobility from 9Z was hard to deal with for Beatrix to kind of land her shot, so that was the answer for them. But they went ahead over here and picked up the Xborg and Lolita. Xborg is also one to kind of be able to escape like the CCs or all of that. And then they picked up Valentina here on the side of Infinity. Lolita, I don't think she's gonna block too much. I mean, like, you can block some things from Beatrix, but
what?
Some shots, a little like easy shots. That's it.
Well, hear me out, because if you are using the golden hour to set up the Nibiru's Passion, that gives Lolita enough time to plan and get that shield up in front of it. When the golden hour ends, you hurry up, you run up there, you get the shield, and you toss all of that back at them, potentially. I mean, I would love to see it in motion. I just feel like it's better on paper than it is in actual gameplay here, Rico.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about here. Like Lolita, I like Lolita a lot, but
yeah,
but on that conversation here, maybe. Okay, using the shield here to like avoid the projectiles coming out from Beatrix, for example, or even Valentina, that might be good, you know. But against the golden hour, I want to see how it's going to work here on 9Z's composition. But now here, my friends, everybody on the chat, everybody who's watching the AMER South so far, welcome to the Land of Dawn. This is the last game and decisive one. One team is going to keep on the competition. One team is going to say goodbye after this game. So let's go private.
Yeah, guys, if you are watching the stream, please drop us a like and a share. Maybe set up that alarm so you can find out when the rest of MLBB North America will be fighting as well, as we go into this fifth and final game here of our first series of the day. Waiting to see, I want to see Fanboy. The aggressiveness, that's what I'm going to be looking for Fanboy here. You can already see him already going ahead, trying to get that information from, actually takes a little bit of stuns coming out from the side of 9Z. Globant is going to be able to find himself and escape, but the great Marcel users that we've been seeing so far are the ones that are aggressive. They use that passive on cooldown. As soon as it comes up, boom, another stun, and that's going to be what's going to help out Infinity set up a lot of these engagements that they're going to come in with. Speaking of which, is Easy going to come in here? Chino, a little bit of trouble here. Faraga armor is out for him, and is going to use that flicker to get away from ZZ and Rusi. Luisinho waiting is gonna come in. I wonder, I don't even know who stole that gold there.
Me too. I don't know, because of the Beyblade form here. I was like I wasn't able to see that shining point heading to the player. I didn't see that, but the turtle here is started by Infinity. Oh, Fanboy here with like so low HP, but still the first turtle here had by Infinity Private.
Yeah, big pick up there for Infinity. That's going to go ahead and set the tone for the rest of the map. Not just that, but you can see the pressure up at top. Rusi already putting some damage, taking some gold off of that top tower as well. Once we start getting into these team fights, it's going to be very interesting to see if Luisinho is going to be able to kind of keep himself up, especially with the threat of a penalty zone coming out from Rusi. When it comes to the drafts, I have to say I'm kind of in favor of this, the side of Infinity right now. Gotta say, when it comes to, I just feel like there's just more initiating factor. Oh, Fanboy almost got taken out. Numenon blast coming out from Alburo Crazy to help facilitate that escape from Feshin, who did lay down a feathered airstrike, almost finding himself a first blood here over Infinity.
Yeah, so Fanboy here almost caught up by a feather airstrike coming up from Feshin here. A very strong mage here, a very strong mid lane that we have to keep on eye the session with Farsa. We saw him with Ivy yesterday, and he was really good. But now with Farsa, let's see if he can repeat the performance from yesterday. But now Alburo Crazy here, like 2v2 situation on the mid lane. The first turtle had for Infinity, and now 38 seconds left for the next one. As you were talking about, Chino taking so much pressure here on Rusi in Terizla, taking the gold energy on the tower on the top side. But it's still not like a dangerous situation. But now ZZ on Luisinho. Okay, ZZ stole the golden crab, right? Okay.
Yeah, definitely, because I didn't see that float over to Luisinho there, but now we have a double down at the bottom. Ooh, feathered airstrike comes out, followed by a Numenon blast, and Last Insanity does not find the kill. Feshin with the momentary flicker out from the backside. Luisinho comes in looking for the stun on the backside. Fanboy able to find himself a little bit of an escape, while the turtle being started by the side of Infinity. Little bit of a fight coming out there as the rest of Infinity come in to provide that suppressive power onto Chino. Down to 10%, and ZZ finds an easy scoop up of the second turtle of the game.
Second turtle here goes for Infinity as well, like working on this high tempo here. The initiation on Fashion here, like forcing him to use the flick, heading back to the base to get this HP back. So it was the perfect time to Infinity to get the second turtle. But now here on the bottom lane, it's a 3v3 situation. But Luisinho is around here with the Batsia to respond any kind of initiation from Infinity.
Yeah, right now both teams kind of relaxed around the map right now. Still a very low kill game, 0-0 right now at the 5-minute mark. You see a glowing wand has been picked up by Lionel right now. Still haven't kind of gotten out of the laning phase just yet. Both teams very easy, a lot of are very even, a lot of respect being paid for both of them, not wanting to be the first one to make a mistake. This game being so important for both of these teams. One will be going home, one will be moving forward after this. You can see Fanboy takes a little bit of damage there from Alburo Crazy, more or less just kind of getting feelers out there from both of these roams.
Yeah, so now you see Fanboy here playing aggressive. Oh, I think that Border Crazy has this information here. Oh, here it comes. Okay, the bottom lane. Oh, he might be in trouble.
Yeah, but he does have that shield there, and I feel like the safest place for him is kind of in the marksman lane there too, especially because you're gonna have that shield that's gonna be able to reflect a lot of those, a lot of that marksman damage anyway. So it's not really much for him to have to be worried about as long as he has that shield up. Ooh, Lionel gonna have to use that IMU Last Insanity very quickly. Fanboy comes in, gets a little bit of that passive off, finds a stun onto a Burrow Crazy. That's gonna help Lionel be able to get himself away so that he can come back even faster. 5 seconds left on this next turtle.
Yeah, so here the battle on the mid lane, like could be a 5v5, but Gusta is on the top side, but with the Spear of Destruction, he can join the fight anytime he wants. But oh, the turtle!
Yeah, Numenon Blast comes out, but that's going to be a third turtle for the side of ZZ. Meanwhile, 9Z Globant going to be able to equal this out, get a tower of their own. Gusta Lagusta able to get that. Oh, on the backside, Chino might be in trouble. Going to have to use that flicker to get out of harm's way.
Oh.
Here comes the golden hour. Is this going to be enough for the rest of the team? They just actually end up disengaging. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication coming out from the team as the feathered airstrike raining down damage from the side of 9Z Globant. Now trying to put the pressure onto that mid-tier 1 tower. Heavy spin, putting Luisinho onto the backside, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a first blood at the 7-minute mark.
Yeah, first blood here. It could be better for Infinity because Fanboy got the kill here after the hard work coming up from ZZ with the heavy spin. But still, Infinity getting this first blood here with the 3 turtles. Goal lead here heading for Infinity, almost a 2k ahead at 9Z Globant. Okay, they have Goose like getting the farm on the sides here, like waiting to get these items, waiting for the power spike for Moskov. But still, Infinity is trying to do something. It's being proactive all the time in the map.
Yeah, I think I was right when it came. Ooh, a tower. Actually, Rusi able to find himself a tower, but I feel like I was correct. I saw Zablotch did pick up the Sea Halberd, so definitely not rushing the BOD here. Definitely going for more of a kind of a support early build there to kind of counter the healing that's going to come out from Luisinho on this Boxia pickup. So you're not going to really have that huge amount of damage in this early game when it comes to some of the golden hours out. Alberto Crazy in trouble. He's going to have to use that dash to get himself away. Now you can see Infinity really starting to push their luck, push into the jungle. Numenon Blast coming out. Rusi very slow, catches a little bit of damage on the back end, but no worse for wear as the rest of Infinity still continuing to try to mount this pressure at the mid lane.
Yeah, I was expecting here Leader coming with the flicker to use like this Numenon Blast in a better way, but now Gusta with the golden staff. But as you said, Infinity here like being more proactive. Luisinho with the Beyblade mode here, he could be killed. Golden Hour?
Golden Hour is going to go ahead and back off. Lots of the team, Last Insanity coming on. No, Burrow Crazy, who gets taken out by a Lionel. And that's going to be the second kill of the game as minions begin to start their descent onto the mid lane. Ooh, Fanboy gets taken out by a Fashion. Answered back as 3 are down for the side of 9Z Globant. Luisinho, Fashion, and Burrow Crazy.
Oh, Gusta with like 2 HP here, 2% of HP here was able to survive. But still, Infinity now having so much pressure on the map, on like 9Z Globant side. Goal lead now heading almost to 5k to Infinity. The Lord heading on the top side. Only the high ground tower on that side here. More advantage for Infinity. Here comes.
Yeah, Lord beginning to crash up at top as the rest of Infinity beginning to mount their offense on the rest of the towers here, mid and bottom. You can see mid with the minions all around it, and Infinity starting to crash out there. The rest, the bulk of 9Z Globant starting to try to take down the Lord up at top as minions begin to clamor for the bottom. Fanboy comes in, finds himself a little bit of a stun there onto Luisinho as the rest of Infinity look for the disengage.
Yeah, it's a very important game here, like it's the 5th one, the last one here. So Infinity doesn't want to take any kind of a risk here, doesn't want to do any overextending here to maybe give the advantage for 9Z Globant back. So they head back here, so they choose for the safest way. Probably they're waiting for the next Lord here to maybe to cause the end of this game. But once again, we saw that move yesterday with 9Z versus Alpha 7. So they have the resilience, they have the patience here to anytime and anyhow reverse that situation.
Yeah, for me right now, my only thing is I'm not seeing the value that comes out from this Lolita pickup. Waiting for them to, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for like, where is the value? What are we waiting for to really kind of kick off, to kind of get the combination that we want to be able to kind of maybe turn this around for our team? Because right now, 9Z Globant on the back foot, almost have their backs against the wall, still have all the high ground towers up. But Infinity looking very, very strong here. 5K gold lead for their side.
Yeah, 5K here for Infinity. 20 seconds left for the next Lord. And yeah, they now trying to do something on the bottom side here. Maybe find someone lost, but 9Z is much worried about the Lord, so they have a better position now. They have the full domination on the river, and 6 seconds, that could be like the advantage that 9Z needed to reverse that situation.
Oh, looking for, do we have a golden hour? No, just a little bit of a freeze trying to come out there. Big penalty zone lands onto 3 members. Numenor Blast gonna have to be disengaged there. Down comes the feathered airstrike. Suppressive fire coming out from Fashion as the rest of 9Z Globant looking for the disengagement. And they are on their back foot. Infinity, super comfortable here now to be able to go ahead and pick up this Lord without much contention coming out from the side of 9Z Globant. Still holding on to this golden hour. Luisinho cannot find himself a way in. Gets caught by the golden hour. Infinity now looking to close this one up. Can they find a kill? Down goes Luisinho. Zablotch there with a kill of his own. 2 down as they take down Chino as well. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, Gusha Lagusta able to find a tier 1 tower to try to equal out some of this pressure with some macro at the bottom lane.
Yeah, and somehow to delay the Lord, but here comes Infinity here to finish the game.
Yeah, Alberto crazy. They do find a stun onto him now. That's going to make mincemeat of this high ground tower. 5 members. Heavy spin is out. Onto the backside. Numenor Blast trying to put the pressure onto Infinity. ZZ very low. Immortality has been proc. Gusta Lagusta right there trying to put the damage onto him. Is this going to be enough? As Rusi taking a heap of the damage coming in is Fanboy to get some of that CC onto the side of 9Z Globant, who has to turn around and deal with this Lord crashing at the bottom.
Once again, 9Z Globant able to defend the base. They lost the high ground towers here in the process, but it's still alive. But you see the base here, HP now. 1 more minion waves heading for the base. Defended by a 9Z Globant. Infinity heads back once again. The damage dealt ranking so far comes to Leo now and on Valentina and Rusi with the Terizla. So Infinity being more proactive all the time here, especially when it comes to Marcel and getting the stacks on his buff and getting the control with the golden hour, with the penalties on here coming up from Terizla and Beatrix from the blocks with the 3 kills so far, being more proactive also. We're seeing the items here, so the halberd, the Has Claws, the Malefic Gun, the Blade of Despair to Beatrix, Wings of Nature, Demon Hunter, Golden Staff, and Corrosion Sight for Gusta Lagusta so far. Wishing Lantern and Infinity Glaive here for Fishing on Farsa. She has a very interesting damage, but I want to see like the 4th item here from Farsa, like to finally see her causing more damage on the next team fights. But maybe it might be too late for a 9Z Globant when this item comes up.
Yeah, and I was about to say that. Looking at that build right there, we don't really have any raw damage coming out from Farsa. No Holy Crystal, no Genius Wand, or any of that raw magic attack there. We've got just a lot. You got, I mean, Glowing Wand. You've got some penetration coming out from them too, and then you've got the raw damage that comes out from the Wishing Lantern there. But you're lacking in that just raw, scary damage that would back up Infinity or find you some kills there just yet. And that's why why a lot of these engagements, you're just seeing Infinity bully 9Z Globant back without much reprieve. Even when you put down the feathered airstrike, Infinity's just kind of standing in it. They're just not really afraid of the damage that's kind of coming out there now. You see them kind of building up this wall, trying to push off the rest of 9Z Globant. Numenon Blast comes in, lands on the 3 members there. And Last Insanity out, looking for the damage, is not going to be able to find itself a kill just yet there. Golden Hour latches on to 1 player for 9Z Globant. Luisinho in trouble there as they're still pushing and bullying back 9Z Globant. Finally, Infinity turned their backs and are going to go ahead, try to pick up this Lord as 9Z Globant have to return to base to try to lick some of the wounds of the damage that was caused here by Infinity.
Yeah, the nominal blast here was really nice, knocking up like 2 or 3 players on Infinity, but still the goal lead, the difference of the items here, resources, it is too big, it's too large for Infinity. You see the goal lead here is almost 10k on this last game. So even though you had a good execution coming out from 9Z Globant, it lacks items, it lacks damage, it lacks this follow-up here to reverse that situation. And now the Lord heading on the mid game here could be the final push heading out from Infinity here, Private.
Yeah, I feel like this composition kind of lacked the same thing that we saw in the first game from 9Z Globant, where we didn't really isolate that early game to kind of facilitate us getting to the mid and late game. Here, we're constantly waiting for the evening out. And then we do have the Feather Airstrike, raining down damage. The Lord down at half health now, putting on it as we clash with all members. Have a good penalty zone, comes in, lands on the 2 members. Down 1, Luisinho down for the side of Globant. Here we have a Golden Hour out as well. Albero Crazy is down. The rest of Infinity now focusing on the core. And ladies and gentlemen, moving forward will be Infinity in the playoffs.
Infinity here surviving on the competition. A best of 5s with the 5 games here, Zena.
Wow, okay. Both teams had so much on the line there, but Infinity made sure that they were securing their spot here in the playoffs and sending home our 9Z Globant, who has to go for the day. Super out of the tournament.
Yeah, we'll be saying goodbye to Chino, Luisinho, Fashion, Albero Crazy, and Gusta Lagusta. But moving forward, we'll be seeing Infinity, who I want to say were possibly the underdogs of this competition, especially when it comes to this series. I was not expecting them to have such dominance, especially when it came to, I feel, very, very calm and purposeful drafts here, which is where I feel like 9Z Globant kind of crumbled back.
Yeah, especially like thinking about like Lolita's choice here from 9Z Globant versus this versus Marcel here with the Golden Hour and all the follow-up from Infinity's composition, you know, like with the Heavy Spin here, which worked so well on ZZ to avoid problems and avoid like Luisinho to get to users retribution on objectives, for example. Lionel with Valentina here playing so well, especially in using the last insanity from Xborg here to cause this damage, especially on the back line here to neutralize Fishing, to neutralize Gusta, for example, which didn't appear on this game. So he was full build here on Moskov, but he was totally neutralized here on this last game here by Infinity. So it was like a very good situation for Infinity here when it comes to the composition, because we already saw like Terizla with the penalty zone, Beatrix here with the Nibiru's Passion, and Marcel with the Golden Hour working so well in that execution. So I almost saw like everybody with the 82% of team participation on Infinity, but no, Zublox with 64 and Fanboy with 91 here with Marcel so far. So Infinity did a great job here in the last game, thinking so well on this draft and that composition that they were about to bring it up.
Yeah,
As we
for
take
sure.
as we take a look at some of the highlights here, you can see some of these fights kind of coming in here. That first blood as they pushed Luisinho all the way back to their base there. Infinity, that's how they got their first blood. And then after that, it was just basically all Infinity here. Even when it came to the golden hour, it really wasn't used as an engagement tool, more or less just as a body block for trying to get into a lot of these objectives. 9Z Globant getting bullied back, and then you would have the golden hour coming out to be able to keep them back while these objectives came out there. Look at this beautiful heavy spins coming out. Meanwhile, backed by Lionel, who would come in for the rest of the damage and the cleanup there as well. So just a great job by Infinity when it came to a lot of these pickups here. I believe we had another golden hour that came in here, but it just, like I said, it really wasn't an initiating tool. They weren't able to really get too many kills here. They chased them down here, got themselves the objective, and unfortunately for 9Z Globant, much the same like we saw from the first game, where we had a composition, but we were constantly waiting. When is this going to take off? When are we going to get the items that we need here? Because what ended up happening is you had something that took off at like the mid to late game, but no way to secure that in the early game. And you were constantly dealing with this snowball effect coming out from Infinity, who just continued putting on the pressure and amounting that until there just wasn't enough left for 9Z Globant here at that final push.
Yes, and when the game demanded impact, this player answered without hesitation. We have Charizla. Oh, Rusi on the Charizla. Wow, he got an MVP. 207 KDA, 43.3k total damage, and 643 golds per minute. He was that defining force for the team.
Yeah, so I don't know, guys, if you remember the quick questions made from Rusi here. Who's the MVP? Me. Who's the best player? Me. Who would you like to?
Yeah, he did say me.
A well-deserved MVP here for Rusi on the XP later with the Charizla once again. Using the penalty zone so proactive here, not only for zone players, but also to work with Marcel's golden hour and any kind of situation that is on 9Z about to bring for Infinity situation here. So, Rusi, especially causing this pressure on the top side versus Chino that you were about to see on the early game, especially when we trying to not trying, he's taking just a little bit of the gold energy on the tower #1. So we saw what is about to